Explosions in Crimea and all across Russia, a strike on a military base, an oil refinery is on fire, railway logistics in chaos. The Kremlin is twisting and turning ahead of negotiations. Putin is afraid of a face-to-face meeting with Zelensky. Heroes of the special military operation are shooting at each other for medals and payouts. And residents of the occupied Donbas told Putin, either give us water or we're heading to Rostov. Hello, my name is Katerina Nesterenko, and right now here are the top stories. But first, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so we don't lose each other on YouTube. While the Russian Federation is striking civilian targets in Ukraine, our drones are terrorizing the occupiers in Crimea. The peninsula was attacked by drones, and a military unit of the Black Sea Fleet, where Russian intelligence is still based, was hit. In addition, strikes also hit the Russians' railway infrastructure in Jankoy.
Special forces struck the Russians' rolling stock carrying fuel and lubricants. As a result of these special operations, supplying the Russian southern group of forces has become more difficult.
Do you know how the occupiers themselves commented on the strikes? No, not by blaming smoking, but let me quote, by calling it practical exercises in firefighting and emergency response under conditions close to combat. Yeah, exactly. Exercises. Well, soon there will be some in Belarus too. Maybe they should go train there. They blew it up. Things were restless even inside the Russian Federation itself, probably the same kind of exercises there too. Drones caused a stir in the Rostov region. There they attacked the Novoshakhtinsk oil refinery.
That's the situation we woke up to this morning. And all of this is from the oil refinery. It's still burning there, blazing away.
Meanwhile, in the Voronezh region, drones attacked the enemy's railway logistics. Well, what can I say? I really like this kind of action. So let me remind you, it's important to donate to the armed forces of Ukraine. Meanwhile, in the swamps, they decided to shoot a patriotic video about the heroes of the special military operation, apparently to boost morale. However, instead of strength, courage and unity, something went wrong. A Russian woman blurted out the plain truth right into the camera.
Actually, it was our Putin who got us into this war. So many people have died. So why did you come to me? Yes, of course. You have to raise Dukanovic at the right time. Okay.
Did the janitor come?
Yes, the janitor. Otherwise, they would have laid more people down.
And they would have laid down even more?
Did you also lose someone?
Right now, my nephew is fighting. He was wounded. He says it's a drone war. We talked with him. It's a drone war. We haven't seen a single damn person the whole time we've been fighting. Not a single one. There are drones flying, dropping mines from the sky everywhere. He got wounded too. Luckily, something saved him. They bought it with their own money. Body armor, helmets, because what they were issued was useless. That's how it is. They need people, but they don't give a damn about anyone.
And then she added about Genofont, who was replaced by Uzbeks and Kyrgyz.
Genofont was for our Russians. That's what Genofont was. They brought in Uzbeks, all these Kyrgyz. What the hell do we need them here for? What good are they?
They work.
Where do they work?
On construction sites.
Yeah, and they're into drugs. And they drag their women here all wrapped up, sitting in the courtyards. Where do they even get the money from? From patriotic stores and those who don't kick them out. Their side hustles are all shady as hell.
Well, that's it, curtain down. Instead of a powerful patriotic video about heroes, what we got was a real chronicle of how people actually think about Putin's war, and about the authorities in general. And now about the so-called heroes of the special military operation. The propagandist Channel 1 talked about their so-called heroics, but in reality, the investigative committee found that Russian soldiers were shooting each other just to get medals and payouts. 35 people from the 83rd Brigade are under suspicion. Because of these supposedly combat-related injuries, they were paid over 200 million rubles from the state budget. And on top of that, they were awarded orders and medals. The most striking case is Lieutenant Colonel Konstantin Frolov, call sign Executioner. In the video, he looks like a super sniper who keeps getting wounded but still continues to fight.
To his own, he's a commander, a father figure, a brother, the senior sniper of one of the airborne units. He just returned from near Avdiivka, where he was wounded for the 7th time. A splinter got under his body armor and almost reached his heart. He refused rehabilitation and leave and went back to duty. He says that's what officers' honor demands of him.
As before, the soul to God, the heart to a woman, honor to no one.
Later, Frolov himself admitted that 4 of his wounds were inflicted by his fellow soldiers. But they did it carefully so as not to damage any vital organs. And all of this was done just to receive payouts of 3 million rubles. So all the stories about him in the propaganda media turned out to be fake, which is hardly surprising. The investigative committee of the Russian Federation has also charged them with bribery and illegal arms trafficking. So the so-called hero of the special military operation is already under arrest. Meanwhile, the Kremlin continues to dodge the upcoming bilateral meeting between Zelensky and Putin. CNN reports that the bunker grandpa is unlikely to dare to meet the Ukrainian leader in person. For the Russian dictator, officially recognizing Zelensky as legitimate is too painful.
If this meeting does take place, as Arush Yalutsevich, director of the Russia and Eurasia program at Chatham House, says, Putin will have to admit the failure of his attempt to sit down with a president he considers a joke from a country that doesn't exist. She also noted that this would be a sharp shift in tone, which would be difficult to explain to the Russian people. Putin has hammered into Russians through state television that Zelensky is a Nazi, that Ukraine is a puppet state of the West, that Zelensky is illegitimate. So why is he suddenly talking to him?
Let me remind you that the bunker advisor Ushakov has already hinted that at most this would be an upgrade in the level of representation. And Lavrov added that a meeting is possible, but only with thorough preparation. Russia itself should be the one to guarantee Ukraine's security. What do you think of this turn of events?
Seriously discussing the issue of security guarantees without the Russian Federation is utopian. It's a road to nowhere.
And here it would be appropriate to recall the article behind the icons, which said that the Russian business elite is already tired of the war and they don't care how it ends, as long as it ends quickly. One representative of big business even stated outright that Putin can sell anything as a victory. And all this is happening against the backdrop of opinion polls showing that 60% of Russians support negotiations with Ukraine. Meanwhile, the residents of Donbas, which is under occupation, as they say, have had enough. They're giving Putin an ultimatum, either water or we're heading to Rostov. Their statement was loud and sharp.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
If we don't have water tomorrow, we're saying this is not just empty words. No, tomorrow we will leave. We'll go to Rostov. We'll drive our own cars at our own expense. And we'll do everything we can. We'll try to get to Putin. Let him see for himself, because everyone talks nicely. Everyone explains things, but no one actually does anything.
Well, what if they even make it to the Kremlin? Who knows? And these are horrifying scenes from occupied Khartsyzk, where Putin's soldiers crushed a civilian car. There is a fatality.
Once I sneak past the solid line, and again past the solid line, then 15, 15, 15, and he's like a sandpiper. Let him, that's a trickster. I came up with it, like girl used to cheat, yeah.
And you know what? Judging by everything, the guilty will probably not be punished. And against the backdrop of life in the occupied Donbas, another Russian reality looks especially cynical. Or rather, it would be more accurate to call it another Russian world. Those who surround Putin are living it up. The combined deposits of 12 members of the Russian Federation's top elite, including families of the president's close associates, are estimated at around 300 billion rubles. Not bad, right? To put it in perspective, that's comparable to the annual budgets of major Russian cities with populations over 1 million, except for Moscow and St. Petersburg. And now, think about this. The average deposit of an ordinary Russian is about 500,000 rubles. So, who exactly is part of this top elite? We'll tell you in our report.
A recent investigation reveals the scale of the financial empire of the Russian president's inner circle. The combined assets of 12 members of the top elite exceed 300 billion rubles. This amount is comparable to the annual budgets of the country's major cities with populations over 1 million, except for Moscow and St. Petersburg. Among the key figures, of course, are Putin's close relatives.
There is a private life which no one is allowed to interfere with. I have always had a profoundly negative attitude toward those individuals who, with their perpetually runny noses and wild fantasies, brazenly intrude into someone else's life.
Alina Kabaeva, known as the mother of 2 of the Russian president's children, has more than 1.5 billion rubles in her accounts.
In 2017, Kabayeva earned 54 million rubles at NMG, but in 2018, her income already amounted to 785.5 million. In 2019, it dropped to 55 million, but in the first half of 2020, Kabayeva received 153 million rubles at NMG, which means she was earning almost 900,000 a day. The gymnast and her close ones have all kinds of real estate. Plots in New Moscow, an apartment on Prechistenka, a cottage in Kuban, apartments on Arbat, an estate in the Moscow region. The estimated value of the Kabayeva family's real estate exceeds 8 billion rubles. At least another 2 billion should be added to this amount.
Her assets used to reach 2 and even 4 billion. According to experts, part of these funds has been invested in major construction projects, media, and commercial enterprises. Control over such financial flows indicates a sphere of influence that goes beyond sports and public activities.
You know, although they say that happiness isn't about money, but about how much you have, you still need to earn a lot of money. You can't just get it for nothing anyway.
So, is money something important to you?
Of course it's important, because without money, you're nobody.
One of them is $7 billion. That's exactly how much the president's younger daughter, Katerina Tikhonova, has in her accounts. This is money in Gazprom Bank and additional funds in the Bank of Russia. In addition to bank deposits, Tikhonova controls several private companies and foundations, which makes her influence not only financial but also technological, especially in the field of high technology and innovation.
Like Putin's elder daughter, Maria Vorontsova, it's hard to call Katerina Tikhonova a model of morality. She leaves her billionaire husband for a ballet artist, then has a child out of wedlock. But family values are for everyone else, just not for the elite. Look, her father cheated on his wife twice and has been living with a gymnast for 20 years. And nothing happens. Renat Davlit-Galdiev on the personal life of Putin's youngest daughter, which is so different from what they try to sell to ordinary Russians.
This is Vilalta Mira, the very mansion belonging to Putin's youngest daughter, Katerina Tikhonova, and her now ex-husband, Kirill Shamalov.
300 square meters of living space, 2 large salons for entertaining guests, a pool with a view of the beach.
The elder daughter, Maria Vorontsova, has about 330 million rubles at her disposal. These figures are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the financial influence hidden from the public eye. Experts emphasize that this method of storing assets makes them virtually inaccessible to public oversight, while allowing for a high degree of financial independence.
From 2020 to 2024, Vorontsova earned 944 million rubles.
Our society, I mean Russian society, after all, our society is not so focused on economics. And for us, the highest value is still the value of human life. Not only
the family, but also the closest associates and allies possess impressive sums as well. State Duma Speaker Vyacheslav Volodin keeps more than 1.7 billion rubles, which brings him about 166 million rubles in income annually. According to experts, the secret of these savings lies in a complex network of bank accounts, investment funds, and companies with state participation. For comparison, the average deposit of an ordinary Russian is about 500,000 rubles. The gap between the elite and ordinary citizens is rapidly widening, raising questions about the transparency of financial flows and potential risks to economic stability.
Like this video to support what we do, and be sure to subscribe to our channel Ukraine Today so you don't miss future episodes. See you next time.